Hello, everybody. That was so cool. It let me know when Ingrid's live ended and everybody started coming over here. That was really cool. We are testing something out that is new. It's the redirect feature. I thought that was really cool. So I'm like, all right, I'm going live now. Hello, hello. All right. So Lindys Magicals may be one of the most versatile supplies in my craft room. And today I'm going to show you just a few ways that you can use them, but be sure to download my free PDF where there are more color combinations, techniques, and so much more. All right. And I would love to know if you use Lindys. So let me know in the chat or the comments. Also, you can get 10% off Lindys by using 10 Tiffany, and the link is in the description box below. And I wanted to let you know about a free class I will be teaching at the Card Maker Success Summit in July. I will be using Magicals, and there is actually a product demo day on June 4th. And you could check out all that information in the description box as well. All right, we are going to get started. So be sure to grab your free PDF. Put that aside. I'm just going to do a little sprinkling first. These techniques I'm sharing in this live are in the PDF as well as a few others. So I am going to be using Industrial Chic. So I had to do a little digging, and I first bought Magicals in 2016. It was the Nantucket. The tube of them. Words are escaping me right this second, but we're going to have some fun today. And I'm really loving the, I don't know, is this turquoise teal and the green? I really love this color combination. So when you are using Lindys, the Magicals, the first thing is to protect your surface. You don't want this powder everywhere because it can get messy. And these are dye-based, so these will stain anything that is porous. So make sure that you keep that in mind as well. All right. So these colors are Rusty Lantern Lime and Time Travel Teal. Connie, I will look into that. I did use a link shortener, so I will definitely look into that. I will fix that for you guys. All right, so this is watercolor paper. I like to use watercolor paper when using Magicals because I tend to use a lot of water. And I'm just going to spray a little bit of water on my watercolor paper because I'm just going to sprinkle them first. I'm going to zoom in just a tad bit. I don't know what is up with my color on screen, but all right. So also another tip is you always want to make sure when you are dipping your brush into the magical powder that your brush is dry. I made the mistake to dipping a wet brush in there and it clumped all up. It didn't ruin the powders, but it definitely was not good. So keep that in mind as well. So when I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit more because I want you guys to see the magic happen. Because it doesn't look like much powder when it's just powder, but when you sprinkle it and all that goodness starts coming, I'm going to show you. There is so many different colors in here. Okay. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, and you want to be careful because you don't want to make the powder go off of your paper. And that's why I actually like to add water first on my paper versus adding the powders directly onto dry paper or a dry surface. All right, next I'm going to add, this color is Time Travel Teal. Yes, it's teal. Okay, so we're just going to sprinkle. And then I'm going to add some water. Okay. So you can kind of let this do its thing. So I like to move it back and forth, side to side. And I like to even use my finger a little bit just to kind of help that color move around. Or you can use a paintbrush. And depending how much you want the colors to blend is how I like to move the paper or move the color around. So that is just a basic technique. And if you haven't seen, if you're just coming straight to my stream, Ingrid did a live where she was mixing the powders in gel. And then after mine, Karen is going to take it to a whole new level as well. So these powders are so amazing. And okay, we're going to set this aside to dry. And I'm going to show you the second technique, and then we're going to combine the techniques. So I shouldn't have pulled up that. I shouldn't have wiped that away. All right, because I need some more here. We're going to do a little stamping. I'm going to add it directly to my mat. And this mat is a Glassboard Studio mat. I've been getting lots of questions about it. It's amazing. It's a magnetic. Well, it has a metal sheet on the back, and you can add magnets directly to it, which is really nice. And I love that it's white as well. All right. So, see, you can use the magnets. Really cool. All right, I'm just going to pretty much make like some watercolor. I meant to use the excess from this because there will be some excess. So I'm just going to use my finger. If you don't want to have stained fingers, then you can wear gloves or have a, use a paintbrush, but I like inky fingers. It makes my heart happy. So going to take this stamp. This is actually a texture stamp used for gel printing. So everything will be backwards, but that's okay. I'm just looking for the circles and the texture. So just going to add this here. And for this technique, a larger area will work the best. Like you don't want something that's super tiny. Also, rubber stamps probably work a little bit better than clear stamps for this. Right, we're going to take this and we're just going to use it to stamp with. And then I just kind of tap because I think getting a variation of texture is really, really cool. So there you go. And you can even spray this with a little bit of water, get that moving around, doing its thing here. And depending on how much you want. So like that. And we will be making a card. We're going to pull this all together and create a card. So I'm actually not going to let this go to waste. I'm going to take another piece of watercolor paper and spray quite a bit of water on here because I want this to move around on my paper. And I'm just going to smush it right in that color. Just like that. Just move it around. And look how pretty, whoops, look how pretty that is. And you could see this, you probably can't see it on camera, but is really pretty shimmer in these as well. Some of the Magicals don't have shimmer. All right, I'm going to take that stamp again, and we're going to add color to it. And we are just going to stamp it on this background. And because this is still wet, you're going to get a lot of blending, and that's okay. I don't mind it. We're just kind of dipping our toes at this point, because I know a lot of people are not very familiar with magicals, and they have been around for quite some time. I know Karen has used them quite often. I haven't used them as much, but I've owned them since 2016. All right, I am going to add a little bit of water because I don't want to waste this, because this picking up this color is going to help maybe later on. If I need a quick card, I'll have a really pretty background to start with. So that's a little bit lighter. So really cool. And I'm going to show you a little bit of techniques on how to, well, actually, to add even more texture and interest to this background. I'm going to set these aside real quick. And I'm going to wipe this up. Hope everybody is doing well. All right, I'm going to clean this stamp just a little bit. All right, now I'm going to use them and create some watercolors. And what I like to do is add a little bit of water to this palette here. Should have grabbed a dropper. Just so that the magicals stick when I put them in there. I don't want them flying everywhere. I'm going to stick to the same colors because they're really pretty. So this is the, what was this one? Rusty Lantern Lime. They have really cool names. Oh my goodness. I wish you guys can see this. Let me see if I can pick it up and show you how amazing this is. So you can see that silver layer on top is the mica in it. And then let me see if I can. No, I don't want to use that one. Use this one. And then just mix it together. There's yellows and blues and just really, really pretty. Okay. Can you seal them when you're done? Yes, I am going to show you how I would do it. And then, okay, I'm going to take some Time Travel Teal. And I'm actually going to take a third color, which is Shabby Turbine Teal, which is just a little lighter than this one, just to get a variation of color. Okay. And using them as watercolors is probably my favorite way to use them. But I had come up with probably 15 ways. I think Karen has like 20 different ways, and that she's used them. I think that's a video of hers, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Now, so I use that. And then instead of rinsing my paintbrush off, so what I'm doing, let me get my thoughts together. So what I'm doing is I'm going to mix a color and then use it on the paper. So typically I would probably rinse it off and then mix all the colors first, but I don't want to waste any of this. So I'm going to start from the bottom up, I guess. And we are just going to add this here. I see that in my own camera here. And the, you know, you can add more color if you want it more pigmented. I like to layer, so I'll let this dry or dry this with a heat tool, and then add another layer. So I have some water on the side here, which you're going to need a lot if you're going to be using them as watercolors. Then I'm going to go in with the, what was this one? Shabby Turbine Teal. I'm going to mix it together. Sorry. And then I am going to go in a little bit into that green and then up a little bit here. And then we're going to go into the Time Travel Teal. Okay. We're going to start at the top and then work our way down. And mixing these two together. Okay, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to, because I want a little bit of that green and all this to kind of flow to the top. So it's going to patiently wait here. Takes just a second. But you could probably see maybe that it's starting to kind of blend a little bit. And I like the lines and the streakiness. All right, then I'm going to go this way, let everything flow back. Okay. Wipe this up. Okay, now I'm going to dry this. So if you have headphones on, I am giving you a fair warning. And this is watercolor paper. Okay, I don't want to dry it 100%, but just enough to where some of that is going to set a little bit better. And then that is going to give a really cool variation in texture when we start splattering water on top. All right, so what I like to do is I like to take a water bottle, spray a lot of water in my hand, and then actually just kind of let it drip. And then once it's all dripped, I like to flick it on like this. Okay. And then hopefully you guys can see that. Let me see if I can do something real quick. Hopefully get a little bit brighter. Maybe just a tad bit. All right. No, it's just Arteza watercolor paper, nothing fancy. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of this extra water up. Yes, it is. It will react to water. Okay. I don't want all of this up, but just some of it. Okay, we could stop here, but I don't. I keep going. All right, I'm going to dry it just a little bit again. Drying in between is just going to help it not react as much. Maybe in areas like this I really love, but I kind of want some water specks on this side. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I turn the paper. I like to always turn the paper, you know, sideways and upside down just to make sure that I'm getting splatters and everything in different areas and not all the same way. And then I'll let it kind of drip off my hand here. I did forget to add another layer of color, but that's okay. More paper towel. And if you get a lot of cool color on your paper towel, don't throw it away. You can use it to collage. No wasting. All right. Now I'm going to pick up some of this, just like this. Take one more paper towel. Just like that. I'm going to show you how cool it is already. Okay. And you probably can't see, but it is shimmery. Maybe a little bit right here. It's got that shimmer in there. Really, really nice. If shimmer isn't your thing, you definitely get the flat Fabios, I think they're called, or something. Let me find my flat Magicals. Sorry. So there's tons. I think I have 15 sets. So there's a lot of them. All right, I'm going to dry this again. This is a process, but it's definitely worth it. And a lot of times I actually like to do this on like a 12 by 12 or an 8 by 10. That way I can get a few cards out of one background. I do that a lot with distress sprays. And I'm actually going to be showing you how to do that in my class for the Card Maker Success Summit. And what was I doing? More splatters. All right, add more sprinkles. Water. We're just building up texture and interest here. Oh yes, the outer space is probably one of my favorites. That would have been really good for the green on here. Okay. I think it's good. I'm going to dry this almost completely. That way we can do a little bit of stamping. And then if you're worried about it curling, what I like to do is just heat it from the back. You can see that it kind of just flattens itself out. If you're going to be using this on a card, you can use double-sided adhesive, which helps flatten it out as well. I don't really worry too much about it being 100% flat. I think it adds something to the card for the recipient. All right, I'm going to add some of this teal down here. And then the lime. Okay. All right. Then we're going to take this stamp and just kind of tap it on into the color here. And then lift it up. That would even be cool. All right. Then I'm going to stamp just a little bit on top here. And because this is dry, like unlike this one, see how it kind of just blended all together? This one is going to stay a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to go back in and get a little bit more water. Yes and no, Sharon. These are dye-based. I don't know if Ken Olivers are dye-based or not. I do love Ken Oliver Colorburst powders. They are similar. You can do a lot of the same techniques with them. So I wouldn't go out buying, a whole new product line if you have something similar. Just use what you have. They'll work pretty similar. All right, I'm going to add this here. And this one here. And I want some of that green. That's true, Karen. They're not shimmery either, so. And we're just adding a little bit of texture so that in the background of the card, so this one, you could see that texture back there with the circles. And then I did actually add another layer of color, so you can probably, well, maybe not, but you might be able to see a little bit of the difference here. But we are going to use the micro glaze, which is going to help brighten everything up as well. All right, I want to add a little bit more. So I have some of these. Oh, I forgot. My phone's telling me that my son arrived at the bus stop. It's half day today. School's almost out for summer here. And I totally forgot. All right, I'm going to add some green. Will these work on gessoed art journal mix? Yes, they will. All right. Add that there. Maybe a little bit in the center here. And then there we go. And I actually am going to take a little bit of water here. I don't want to waste anything. I'm going to just smush this in here. So there you go. All right, maybe we'll smush this one too, just because it's there. All right. There we go. And I am going to add a few splatters since we have some extra color here. I'm going to take that darkest color. I want to try and not get teal down here, so I'm just going to kind of cover that up a little bit and then just splatter. And then since we're at it, we'll splatter this one as well. All of these different little things that may not seem like a lot, it adds to a project. Every texture, every little, everything. It all adds to it. All right. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the green on the bottom, splatters. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this completely, and then before we use a microglaze on top, I am going to stamp and do some embossing. If you use the microglaze on top and try to emboss after, it will just be a mess. So I want to make sure that this is pretty dry. But it's always good to have a embossing anti-static tool. I actually it's been a little bit since I've gotten this one, and I really like this one. It's from the Rabbit Hole Designs, and it's just kind of like this. And this is just baby powder in it, but it's really nice just to have a tool to kind of do. So I'm just gonna tap this on here. Like this, tap, tap, tap. But you always want to make sure that you use some sort of anti-static tool. You can even use a dryer sheet if you don't want to go out and buy something special. All right, where is my mist? Oh, there it is. All right. I need to slow down. I'm going to finish way too early, I think. All right. So I'm going to be using my Misty because, I don't want to put that on there. Might actually, no, I'm going to do the bottom as the green. I don't know why, it just feels like it grounds it. Okay, so this stamp is from Altenew. Let me see if I can grab it here. It is the Dahlia Bright Eyes Paint a Flower. If you have floral images or any other you know, images that normally you would color and you want to use it, just kind of splatter some color around and, you know, then add your stamp. You don't always have to color an image perfectly. Because I like to use the florals as like outlines. Let's see, how do I want this? I'm going to do like that. And this is from LDRS. I don't know the brand, the long name of the brand, but this is just basically like a hockey puck. I know people have used like dry erase things where it just to smooth it out a little bit better instead of using your hand all the time. All right, now I'm going to take some Versamark ink, and the Versamark ink is sticky because we're going to be using some embossing powder, which the embossing powder needs something to stick to. Okay, I'm going to close this. And I like having a stamping tool because it helps if I don't get a good impression. And when I'm using embossing powder, I always like to stamp it twice. So that really helps. Having a MISTI or other stamping platform or whatever helps in that sense, because trying to do it without one is not going to happen. All right. Here we go. And I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to do a little bit of the floral image on the side here. On the bottom here, which, let's see what I want here. I just like that, just a little bit on the bottom. There we go. Add the Versamark ink. Close it. One more time. I would love to know if you have Lindys. Did I say that already? Well, for those of you just joining, I would love to know if you have Lindys Magicals or other powders, and what technique is your go-to technique with them. Like, what do you love doing with them? All right, I'm going to close this, and I'm actually going to get a drink of water. Outside cleaning the pool this morning. It was already hot, like 80, so it's very hot already where I live. All right, I need a piece of paper. Use this. And the embossing powder. I like to use super fine white embossing powder from Ranger. I've used this for many, many years. It's my favorite. All right, I'm just going to sprinkle that. And because we use the anti-static tool, it's hopefully not going to get in a lot of places where I don't want them. I'll put this back. In the jar, close it, because I have spilt full jars of embossing powder before. I don't want that to happen. All right, now I'm going to be using my heat tool. So there's two different tools. If you're new, I don't know if anybody is new to card making. or this technique, but this is more for what I was using earlier is more for drying, not necessarily heating embossing powder. If you have patience like a saint, you can use it, but I don't. I like things to work fast. So that's why I have a embossing tool. All right, so I'm going to heat this. A warning for headphone users. And you can see it melt, which is really, really cool. It's so fascinating to see, even after, I don't know how long I've been crafting, 15 years. It's still really, really cool to see. I don't know if it'll ever get old. Flip it. Just like that. There we go. Oh, I missed a little spot here. There we go. Hello, Stephanie. Thanks for joining. I think my favorite thing to do with Magical is to sprinkle and spritz them on a background made with a stencil and paste. Ooh, that sounds like it would be so amazing to watch. Foiling, yes. I was on a foiling kick for quite a while. I didn't end up getting any like videos out on it or anything. Lots of footage, but yeah. Anyways, all right. Next step is to maybe wipe off the excess powder from the embossing tool or the anti-static tool. Okay. Then we are going to add the microglaze. Distress microglaze is your best friend. All right. I like to use a dome, and don't worry about the color. It doesn't really matter. All right. Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that. My son, every day for many, many years, he comes home. I'm home. Like old married man or something. So funny. All right. So I like to dab it off a little bit just so that I'm not getting clumps or anything. And then make sure I am in. And then you can hopefully see how this just brightens everything up. And this stuff, I know we're working with Magicals, but the Distress Microglaze is magic in a bottle because it just, I don't know what it is in there that it's amazing. You have to kind of see it in person to see how amazing it is, but it just brightens everything up. And for a card, it will seal it. So I'm not too worried about sealing it with like, what was that stuff that I used? Kamar varnish or something like that, where you would seal art pieces like, but yeah, so that is how I would seal it. So hopefully that answers your question, Amanda. Let's see. Where is my... Okay. Now is for some splatters. You can use it over like watercolor, like if you do watercoloring or anything that is like sprays. I use it a lot with my distress sprays and things like that because it just brightens everything up and it adds like this depth. It's just, I don't know how it does it, but it's amazing. Hello, Maddie. Welcome. That's awesome. Okay, so I am going to splatter with gloss spray. from Ranger from Dina Wakley. This is my go-to splatters, white splatter medium, because it is an acrylic paint spray, I guess you could call it. And on top of the Distress Micro Glaze, if you scratch at the little splatters, they will come up, but I'm not going to be scratching at my cards, so I don't really worry too much about it. I like to splatter on top of the Micro Glaze because then it's not going to seep in and pull some of that color. Like, it's not going to mix in with the Lindys, because Lindys is water reactive, so they will mix together. So hopefully that helped. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to dry this just a little bit. You don't want to heat it too much because the glaze is like waxy in a way, so I don't want to heat it too much, but just a little bit to make sure that those splatters are going to be dry. All right. All right, I'm going to set this aside just for a second, and then I'm going to cut it down. But where did I put the sticker? Oh, there they are. I'm going to choose a sticker sentiment from these. These are the, I've had these for quite some time. They're the small talk snarky ones. I used one on my other card. You know, I'm working in such a small space, you would think that I wouldn't lose anything, but I'm losing everything. Oh, goodness. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Let me overthink this. Who else does that? I overthink overthinking because I'm an overthinker. So, all right. Let's see. I need a kind of a smaller one because I did do it this way. Some of these are kind of mean. Like no one cares, and I don't know. That's why that's why I think I haven't used them. But some of them are pretty funny. Let's see. No, those are too long. All right, we're going to stick to the first page. Who left the bag of idiots open? Oh, my goodness. Some of these are not very nice. Oh, let's see. When in doubt, vacation. Yeah. I don't drink, so happy hour isn't a thing for me. Sorry, now I'm overthinking all of these because I don't know. Let's see. Let's go to the next page. Let's see. And now I remember why I don't use these too often. I think they're hilarious. Don't get me wrong. They're hilarious. But to put them on a card, I don't know. Unproductive with a chance of nap. And then listen, before I had coffee, I didn't know how awesome I was going to be today either. That's true. All right. I'm taking too long on this. Oh, this one. I've got it all together, but I forgot where I put it. That, yes. Still have 15 minutes. Yeah, I've got 15 minutes. You guys want to wait around while I contemplate a rude sentiment to put on a card? All right. They're not too bad, but all right. I am going to cut this down. All right. I've got it all together, but I forgot where I put it. Definitely me this year. For sure. I don't know how I have survived. All right. I do like to put it on cardstock. So let me, nope, that one. Okay. So I have some scrap cardstock and I'm going to add, so these are pretty old. They're not too sticky. So I'm going to add some double-sided adhesive to the back. Maybe if I can get to it. And then that way they're really sticky. And normally I probably would use collage medium, but I need to find another bottle. I ran out. And it's in my closet, so and I totally forgot. Because of the Distress Micro Glaze. Okay. Well, I didn't run out. I have a few other bottles, and I have a container as well. But I was working on a project, and I cannot wait to show you guys. It's coming July, the end of July. It's like torture to wait, and it's already been like a few weeks. I am the type of person, like when I make a project, I like to share it right away. Like I cannot wait. But of course I have to. All right. And I just cut it out with scissors. I'm not too worried about it being perfectly straight. There's more things to worry about. All right. Okay, now this is dry, so I'm going to take my, I'm gonna grab my trimmer here. It is a ways out. Can you imagine how I feel not being able to share things? All right. I'm gonna trim this down a bit to 4 5 1/4. I don't know if I need to what's it called? To sharpen this or what, but it's not, it doesn't want to trim at the very edge there. All right. Ooh, it would, huh? All right. I'm going to take, what did I say? I lost my train of thought here. A little bit off the top here. And then a little bit off of the bottom. Make 4 5 1/4. Oh, come on. It's keeping way too much. It is, huh? Those are little tiny things, but I don't know. I've seen Ingrid use some scraps and create some really pretty cards and projects. Okay. I'm going to rough up the edges on this just to kind of keep with that texture and mixed media vibe going on. I just use the back or my scissors here. Might need to tighten the screw on the arm. I have similar trouble with mine. Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that. Thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate it. Oh, did I cut it or what happened there? I felt like I cut it. Uh-oh. Did I freeze? Did I freeze? Oh no. It's because my AirPod died. Okay. All right. Yeah, my AirPod died, so it paused my live on my phone where I'm watching the chat. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this. And where is my... I don't know where my good one is, but I'll use this one. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. That's okay. All right. I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive. Ooh, the back is even cool too. Me too. Go. This is going to help flatten out the card panel so that it's not so warped on the card base. There we go. All right. Now, as I'm putting this card together, don't forget we're going to be directed over to Karen's live. And I do have the free PDF with more techniques with the magicals and color combinations and tips. So be sure to download that. And I will look at that link to make sure that it is good. All right. There we go. Then I'm going to use some foam adhesive just to pop it up, the sentiment up just a little bit. There we go. All right. This foam adhesive is from scrapbook.com. Go, okay, little piece here. Whoops. Okay. Now, I do not put things straight. I try to, but I'm not the card maker or creator to take out a ruler and make things perfectly straight. So it's just not what I do. All right. Let's see, did I do everything? I did it all. There we go. I kind of like, I don't know. Dahlia, let me find the stamp. It is called Dahlia Bright Eyes. So it does come with a few smaller sentiments, but sometimes, actually a lot lately, when I'm done with a card, I just like to add a sticker sentiment and call it a day. Because, or else I will be there forever. You saw how long it took me, just one sticker sheet. Imagine looking through all my stamps for a sentiment. So, what is your favorite Magicals technique? I like to use them as watercolors, but I would love to know everybody else's. I also love this, like, stamping with them, because I mean, this is just super cool in itself. On the watercolor paper, and you get that shimmer, and then like the flecking or wicking. Really, really fun. So many things to do with them. All right. And like I said, I do have the free PDF download, as well as all of the supplies are linked in the description. And you can get 10% off of your order over at Lindys if you use the coupon code 10Tiffany. All the information is in the description. So be sure to check it out. And I did want to mention that I will be teaching a free class at the Cardmaker Success Summit at the end of July, and I will be using Magicals. And there is a product demo on June 4th, and you can check that out in the description as well. And I just touched the surface when it comes to getting a mixed media look on your projects, but be sure to check out the video here to take it to the next level. And we are going to see what Karen has to do with the Magicals, what she's going to do. So I am super excited, and I will see you all over there. Thank you so much for watching.